When the aircraft carrying the body of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga touched down at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Kenya stopped. A man who had spent his life fighting for justice, democracy, and equality was finally home, but not in the way millions had hoped. Hundreds of Kenyans had gathered at Jkia hours before the flight from India landed. Some had arrived before dawn. Men, women, children, waving flags, holding candles, and carrying portraits of Raila. They came from every corner of the country: Kisumu, Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, all united by grief. As the plane approached, the crowd went silent. Then the plane landed, engines roared, the door opened, and that is when emotions overflowed. People cried out his name, Baba, Baba, you fought for us. Others sang old campaign songs, while many simply wept quietly, their eyes fixed on the flag-draped coffin being brought out by the Kenya Defense Forces. The arrival turned into an emotional storm. Some supporters, overwhelmed by grief, moved closer to the plane. Despite tight security, hundreds surged forward, shouting, praying, and recording the moment with their phones. Security officers struggled to hold them back. Some climbed barriers, waving the Kenyan flag and chanting Raila's name. Videos went viral almost instantly, people crying, praying, and capturing what many called the saddest moment in Kenya's political history. Even journalists covering the event could not hold back tears. Mombasa Governor Nasir was seen wiping his eyes. Other leaders, including Gladys Wanga of Homa Bay, tried to calm the crowd. She took the microphone and pleaded, "Please let the soldiers do their duty. Let us honor Baba with respect." Her voice broke as she spoke, but the crowd, filled with raw emotion, struggled to remain calm. At some point, things got out of hand. The military had created a secure zone for the dignitaries and the Odinga family, but the sea of mourners overpowered the barriers. People broke through the lines, rushing toward the casket, some just to touch the coffin, others to say goodbye. The officers tried to contain the surge, but emotion overruled protocol. For a brief moment, the ceremony turned chaotic. Cameras captured officers locking arms to protect the casket. But in that chaos, one thing was clear: Kenyans loved Raila deeply. This wasn't just a political leader returning home. It was a father figure, a man who gave his entire life to serve his country. After the casket was secured, the national anthem was played. Tears fell freely. Military officers saluted. Leaders stood side by side. Rivals turned mourners. At that moment, it didn't matter who supported which party. Kenya was united in grief. From Nairobi to Kisumu, people gathered in homes, churches, and streets, watching the coverage. Messages of condolence poured in from around the world. African presidents, foreign diplomats, and global leaders remembered Raila as a true son of Africa. Among the family members at Jkia was Winnie Odinga, Raila's last-born daughter. She had accompanied her father to India for treatment, and she returned home silent and heartbroken. Her eyes were hidden behind dark sunglasses, but her expression told the story of pain no words could describe. She stood close to her aunt, who remained composed but visibly shaken. The two women walked behind the casket as it was wheeled away by KDF officers, a moment that moved the entire nation. For years, Winnie had been her father's right-hand partner in politics, always by his side at rallies and at meetings. Now she was leading him home for the final time. After the short military ceremony, Raila's body was transported from Jkia under tight security. Along the route to Lee funeral home, thousands lined the streets. Some threw flowers, others knelt down as the convoy passed. Cars stopped, motorists stepped out. Boda riders formed long lines following the hearse, horns silent, engines humming slowly. The mood was somber. People waved Kenyan flags and chanted softly, "Baba, rest well." Raila was not just a politician, he was a movement. He fought for multi-party democracy in Kenya. He spent years in detention for speaking truth to power. He lost elections, faced betrayals, and endured endless criticism, but he never gave up. To many, he was a symbol of hope, a man who represented the voice of the ordinary Kenyan. Even those who didn't support his politics respected his courage. That is why on this day, the airport was full, not just with people, but with history, emotion, and gratitude. Government officials have announced that Raila's body will lie in state for public viewing. Kenyans will have a chance to pay their final respect before the funeral service, which is expected to be one of the largest in the nation's history. The Odinga family has requested privacy as they prepare for the burial in Bondo, Siaya County, the land where Raila's journey began. As the sun sets over Nairobi, Kenyans continue to mourn and to remember. In the words of one mourner outside Jkia, "Baba may be gone, but his spirit will live forever in the hearts of Kenyans." This is not just the story of a man's death. It is the story of a life that changed Kenya forever. Raila Odinga may have taken his final flight home, but his voice, the voice of courage, truth, and unity, will never be silenced. Rest in peace, Baba. Kenya will never forget you.
That have been to the mountaintop, have seen the glory land. I may not get there together with you, but together we will get there. I have seen the glory land. What I'm doing with the Uhuru, we are doing for prosperity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya, but Kenya must have a good president.
Nani Eugene? Who is this? Anaitwa nani? Ole Sakal. Ole King. Wameamua kutoa watu. Hao ndio wamejua sasa. Wamekuja kusongesha watu.